Good afternoon, and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11, and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some of the matchups tonight in the ALCS Game 6. Seattle 1-1 away from a World Series trip. Toronto trying to hold off elimination at home. Obviously, normally we talk a ton about pitching, and we will in this video as well. Some interesting spots to kind of talk through. I will be looking at DraftKings, as that is where a majority of my action is. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. Both Logan Gilbert and Trey Savage making their second starts in the series. Both guys had some struggles in game one. Logan Gilbert, bunch of base runners in 3 innings. Just 2 earned, but the strikeouts weren't there, which we kind of expected given that Toronto doesn't strike out all that much. Plus, he had been used 3 days prior in a relief role in that marathon game against Detroit. Back on, I guess, regular rest / an additional day of rest, which probably helps him. His outs prop, I think, is like 14.5. So it's right at, 5 innings. Seattle has a little bit more of a leash than Toronto. I think Logan Gilbert's probably the smarter pitcher play, but I actually think Savage could be in line for a decent performance. Obviously, there's a lot of volatility to it. Toronto in a win-or-go-home scenario. Probably can't afford to give him much of a leash. Game 1, he wasn't terrible. Walks were the issue, and he made one mistake to J-Rod. J-Rod caught him for a 3-run home run right away. He settled in after that. The 2 additional runs came when his runners were on base, and Louis Varland gave up a 3-run home run after that. So he's legitimately one pitch away from just not giving up really any runs at all, to be honest. So his performance kind of just leaves me to think that there's some more upside in this start for him than maybe on the Logan Gilbert side. Because of that, I kind of do want to go heavier on Savage, even though I think Logan Gilbert's the better play in this format. Gilbert's upside just capped by the lack of strikeouts. Savage's outs prop, I think, is just 9.5. Or I'm gonna load that up again. I looked earlier and I can't remember. Had to focus on NFL for a little bit. 11.5. Logan Gilbert's moved from 14.5 to 15.5 now, but Savage is 11.5. Juice is on the over, but that's still 4 innings. Maybe pitching into the 5th. It's close enough, and his K upside is probably greater. His K prop sitting at 5.5, juices on the under. Logan Gilbert's 4.5, juices on the under. So about a strikeout difference between the two in favor of Savage. Now, small field stuff, like Logan Gilbert's probably the guy you just play in utility. Savage is the guy for the large field because he's got such a wide range of outcomes in the scenario. He legitimately could be pulled in the first, because of the win-or-go-home nature. Or, if he's dominating, 5 innings and 8 strikeouts are the upside. When it comes to relief pitchers, on the Seattle side, I don't think we need to worry about Longman. Wu was just used last game for a couple innings. But it's, Munoz as the closer, a ton of upside. Brash is getting used all over the place. Doesn't really matter the inning, but he's like the 8th inning, their best setup guy. He's also the guy I think that has the best strikeout upside out of the bullpen. I've mentioned it before. He's obviously getting used heavily in the postseason, which you see out of teams' best relief pitcher arms. But his first 2 appearances in the Detroit series, he racked up 5 strikeouts in an inning and 2/3. So all 5 of the outs came via strikeout. So shows you the type of ability and upside he offers. Bizzardo isn't terrible. He did give up a solo home run his last appearance. But he certainly has the ability to pick up some strikeouts. He's kind of lower on the list. Munoz being the closer, obviously. Hasn't really had the big strikeout performances in the postseason, but he's there. Especially in a spot to like clinch if he's in the 9th. There might be a little more amped up energy. Gabe Spire is a guy that 2 strikeouts in each of his last 2 appearances. Oops, I scrolled down. I was looking too far. No strikeouts last time, but picked up the win. 2 strikeouts in the one before that. Struggled a little bit. He has multiple strikeout upside, right? This stretch here in 5 games, 2+ strikeouts in 4 of the 5 appearances. Being left-handed, there are bats that he would be in line to face. Barger, Varsho, Jimenez, Lucas maybe, but that's a tough spot because he's kind of stuck between Springer and Vladdy, as long as Springer's in the game. But I mean, Spire offers us plenty. Vargas isn't bad. Like, if you think Gilbert struggles early on, Vargas could see 2 innings out of the bullpen. He's probably the likely 2-inning guy if they're behind. Because if they are behind by a handful, 4 or 5 runs in the middle innings, they're not going to their stud relief pitchers. They're going to save them for tomorrow in Game 7. But, it's Gilbert, it's Brash, it's Munoz, maybe Spire, and maybe Bizzardo, I guess, is the confidence level for me. For Toronto, I think Lauer is viable to be a long man if need be. So if Savage struggles, I think Lauer's in play. I think Bassett's in play. He threw in Game 1, an inning 2/3, struck out 2, looked good. So if Savage struggles early and they need to pull him in the first, second inning, it really could be Chris Bassett. That would not shock me. I have to think through builds a little bit more because I don't know if I really want to mix in a lot of Bassett, but it does make a ton of sense to me in this spot. When it comes to relief pitchers, they're not as dominant in the bullpen as Seattle can be. Hoffman's the closer. 2 appearances in this series so far. 3 strikeouts in 2 innings, so pretty decent. You have to think, unless they're just getting destroyed, that Hoffman's going to see the mound as the closer, win or go home. Even if they're down, 2 in the top of the 8th or 9th, they probably bring in Hoffman at one point. Fluharty, I think he struggled. There's a chance that he's been used a lot in the postseason. Doesn't really strike me as a big strikeout guy. I thought Brendan Little was probably their most likely to be relied upon, but he's looked terrible in 2 out of his last 4 appearances. He's probably not somebody they want to trust a whole lot. Dominguez struggled last time out. He's a guy that has big-time postseason experience, though, so I would not be shocked if they go back to him. But it's Louis Varland that's been getting, all the usage out of the bullpen. They clearly trust him a ton. Multiple strikeouts in 4 of his last 6 appearances in the postseason. So definitely the guy that I think is the number 1 bullpen option for the Blue Jays. I think Braden Fisher is probably a sneaky dart throw. Struggled in his first appearance against Seattle, but then bounced back last time. Not really somebody I want to, have more than 2% of in my runs, but he kind of makes a little bit of sense, But for me, it's really Varland and Hoffman, along with probably some Bassett, because I think that makes sense. If we do think Savage kind of struggles with nerves or just gives up some runs early, they need a strong arm out of the bullpen. Chris Bassett, obviously, one of their better starting pitchers for much of the year. having been injured, coming back. Did throw 6 days ago, looked pretty strong in that appearance against Seattle. I think it's a spot where Bassett might be the long man that we have to look at. When it comes to bats in this game, Vladdy's just on fire. So we're just playing Vlad. Kirk, I'm not sure which guys profile well enough against Gilbert just yet. I have to dig in more. But Clement just keeps getting hits in the postseason. Just keeps hitting. Not much else needs to be said. The guy gets on base right now. I do think they need Varsho to show up a little bit. For his last 8 with 4 strikeouts. They definitely need Springer to be in the lineup. We're hoping that he's back in because it just makes their lineup better. Barger kind of woken up a little bit over the last 3 games, so that's nice to see. Jimenez, back-to-back home runs, or games with a home run, and then went 0-4 last time out. But yeah, they need somebody aside from Vladdy, but Vladdy's just a smash right now. They're going to walk him a bunch at this point. So we need somebody else on Toronto to step up. Then Seattle, obviously Cal Raleigh, another home run. 3 home runs in this series so far. 4 in the postseason. J-Rod, back-to-back 0-for games after homering in back-to-back games. But obviously super important. Polanco maybe cooled off a little bit. Suarez finally woke up, and I kind of predicted that we would be seeing him at some point. It did come against the pitcher that he profiled the best against in the series, in Gaussman. But both Gaussman and Savage throw a split a lot. And I think that works out for Suarez a little bit. I don't remember his exact splits breakdown against the splitter. But if he profiled super well against Gaussman, I have to assume he's going to profile pretty decently against Savage. Randy Arozarena just keeps stealing bases. 4 stolen bases over the last 5 games in this series. 4 stolen bases in this series. 6 hits and 3 walks. So, he's just getting on base, stealing bases, etc. Or actually just 2 hits and 3 walks. He's actually scored 6 runs. Is that what it is? That's a pretty strong number. I think Arozarena is probably the guy that kind of gets overlooked a little bit from the top. And then you kind of scroll down to try to find guys that fit, like a J.P. Crawford. Or even the fact that he's more expensive than Naylor. And Naylor probably ends up more popular. Naylor does have 3 hits in 4 of his last 7 postseason games. Adding a couple walks as well. He's just getting on base, doing those kind of things. Super important for, showdowns to get those points whenever we can. So Naylor's definitely going to be fairly popular. But there we have it. There's kind of our first look at the breakdown of the options on the slate. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell, and get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will drop links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And I will drop a link to our merch store. You can check out my hoodie and some of the other designs that we have. And as always, best of luck, everybody.